Hey guys, it's Gen.Drago here. Oh, sorry about not really uploading anything the past few months. I've been terribly ill, and I haven't really had the energy or the feeling to do any videos or any streaming. But today I'm just going to do a little video on Total War Warhammer 2's latest update. And well, one of the reasons I'm doing the update for this one is because I was watching the Inept Generals video. If you don't know who the Inept General is someone that does a lot of goes on about the lore of Warhammer. Him and Lore Master Sotek are two best people to go see about lore guiding the Warhammer fantasy scene. So if you want to know more about the lore and backstory of characters and factions, definitely go ahead and check them out. Yeah, but so I was saying the reason I'm making this is because I was watching him go through it, and I put comment on his video about not liking what they've done to the lizard men, and a lot of people replied to that, saying that, oh, what are you talking about, lizard men are OP and lizard men this and that and about it. So I thought I'd make this video to emphasize why it makes a difference to the lizard men, and they're not OP. They're really not. But I'm also going to go through this update as well, because they have put some good stuff in here, but they've also done quite a bit that I don't like. And Create Assembly have been getting a lot of flack lately. Well, it is quite rightly deserved. Especially me, I have some problems with them, because after I've written on about it before, because I got the second Go edition, so that's 109 quid on a game, which is a ridiculous amount of money to spend, and you got it 3 days early, and oh yeah, you can't play it until the actual game comes out. It's like, why do you do that, game creators? If someone's spent all that money on your game, they deserve to play it a few days before it gets released. Like, who knew they enjoy a game so much that they go for the stupidly expensive option? Let's not let them play it early. Oh no, that'd be horrible. But instead, let's just give all this free stuff to big YouTubers and let them spread our names wide. Spread our game around. Like, they won't matter. Not our actual customers that buy the game, so no, not those guys. Fuck them. And then it took them a month to send me my Norska DLC that was supposed to come with the thing. It took me a month constantly arguing with them to get them to give me it. And oh look, we go and fuck up our copy and paste so you can't play it on Warhammer 2. Great. Well done, CA. Well done. And then they give us that shitty laboratory as an apology, like, which is only useful to big YouTubers, so they can demonstrate the game and say, oh look, this game's amazing, come get it. But you can't do that because laboratories are just have a lot of mess about with, and it's really nothing impactful to the overall game, and it's just meant to make the game look better for people that are streaming it, or as I say, these big YouTubers doing stuff. But there are enough of taking the piss out of CA. It's a terrible decision so far. Let's talk about let's go through another terrible decision. So here's the update, and they have a nice screenshot here of the Tombkins that are going to be released this month, on the 23rd, if I remember correctly, which shows quite accurately that the Tombkins are just going to ruffle stomp the lizard men, and I'll go through that a bit later on, why they're going to just stomp them into oblivion. Just poor people. I love those lizard men. But anyways, so that's a nice little screenshot they put up there. It looks very fancy. Lots of dead lizard men. And there's a lot of updates and stuff here. I won't go through all that because it's a lot of nonsense. I'm just going to go through the units and what they've buffed and what they've debuffed. I think that's the most important thing to go on here. So first on their list is the Beastmen. Now, the Beastmen at the moment are by far the strongest faction in the game. They just rip through everyone, especially in campaign. The Beastmen just rip the Dark Elves. In the Mortal Empires campaign, the Beastmen just rip through the Dark Elves section. I mean, you rarely get to fight them now, because Malekith and his mother gets stomped on by all these Beastmen, and then Beastmen just rip through the Empire, Britannia. It's only really the Wood Elves that really stand much of a chance of surviving against them. I've seen through Mortal Empires. But yeah, Vestigors. I believe MP is a multiplayer cost. I believe that's what that stands for. So it'll cost a bit more and get some less melee defense. And I am happy with all these debuffs on the Beastmen because they do need debuffing. And then there's the Centaurs, minus HP to them. And Centaurs are great weapons, remove splash attacks. That is really good that they removed that. I mean, the General wasn't too pleased with that, but no other thing with great weapons has splash damage, and they increased their charge bonus anyways to compensate for that, because they are cavalry, and that's the reason why cavalry should send anything flying as if it's smacking into it. So yeah, they should not have splash damage, so that's good. Razorgore heads, they're getting a buff, but that's fine. I never really found them much of a threat. Manticores are getting, I believe, minus on the attack intervals means it attacks faster, if I'm reading that correctly, which hopefully that includes the ones that you summon through the Beast of Law magic, because one of my favourite things to do is to get a little skink priest on Stegodon and just have him spawn in feral manticores. So, which is really cool to do. Cygors, minus 10 marksmanship. Yes, because all they do is just throw in a bolt and the cat be insanely accurate while doing that. And all giants are getting a boost, which, okay, that's fine. Not really. And Kazrak is cost a little bit less. I mean, people rarely use Kazrak one eye, and he's not the best lord to have. Bretonia is getting a bunch of power-ups because they need it. They are a very weak faction at the moment, so that's always nice. And pretty much like all the factions, I think it's getting more AP damage. I believe why everyone's getting such a huge boost in AP damage now is to deal with the Tomb Kings, because their constructs arm is going to be insane. So they're going to need armor piercing damage to deal with them. But that also proves a bit of an issue with some other factions, which I'll go into a bit later. Grail Knights, they should always be strong. They should definitely always get maybe even a bit more of a buff, to be honest, because Grail Knights are not as terrifying as they really should be, especially considering their law. Minor accuracy buff for the Yeoman, okay, that's fine. Pegasus Knights, put more mass, yeah, I guess they need it. Yeah, there's no reason why they would really be slow on the ground, so that's fine as well, give them more ground speed. Trebuchet is getting more explosive damage and AP damage. Ooh. Okay. The Green Knight's less tanky now, but does more damage because of that nice AP. And these are the Lords, get a bit more updates. The Paladins costing a bit less, so they'll be more used. And here we have Chaos. I mean, I don't know, with Chaos, I know in multiplayer people have been wanting them to be a bit stronger, but they already are strong. But I think the reason why they're getting a buff this time around is just because Chaos is meant to be like the endgame threat, as opposed to be, you're already shitting yourself like a horde of Chaos is running at you. So I can understand why these have gotten an update, a bit of a buff to them. But we'll see how. So I'm still a bit unsure on this, so we'll see how it goes when it's actually implicated. So more melee attack, Chosen's with great weapons, definitely going to become a lot more dangerous now with that extra melee attack and defense, and plus armor piercing damage extra. They're going to be nasty to fight. Marauder horse, well, you rarely see them because mine are buffed to mobility, so they're going to be even harder to catch. But and more melee defense. I don't agree with the melee defense on them. The big issue with them is that you can't catch the fuckers, and then they just start throwing shit at you. They're just so annoying, but you rarely see them anyways. Chaos Knights, more health. Ugh. The Chaos Knights are nasty creatures to deal with. Hell Cannons, high accuracy. Oh, I don't really like them being high accurate. Minus 2% reload time, so they can shoot, but also the damage is reduced. It says here about they don't want people to, because you can kind of like, if you shoot it manually, you can kind of cheap shot an extra shot out and do like a perfect homing shot. So I think they're trying to stop people spamming that so much, which would be nice, but I never liked fighting hell cannons. They're always a dangerous artillery to deal with. Unless you're a flying unit, then it's fine. That you can just like get the AIs like shoot you, and they just kite the ammo around. Then you've got Manticores again. They're nice. They're getting a nice buff. Oh, all mount variations as well. Okay, Manticores are definitely getting a lot more deadly in this latest version. Dragon Ogres, leadership and melee defense. I think Dragon Ogres are already quite strong as they are. I don't think they need buffing. It's nice to see the Shagos get a debuff. But yeah, I really don't think Dragon Ogres needed buffing. Dragon Mounts just cost more. Archeon's getting some nice buffs. Sigvald's getting buffs, which Sigvald didn't really need him. He was one of the best lords in Warhammer 1 because he was just a tanky bastard that could regenerate his health. Super annoying to deal with. And the Dark Elves. Black Archers cost going up? Yep. Because I agree with increasing the cost of the Dark Elves units because they are a very strong faction. Shades, charge bonus. Okay. Witch Elves poison lasts a bit less now, and it's not as potent. Witch Elves have got just straight out debuffed, which I think that's one of the units that doesn't really need a debuff in the Dark Elf army because you rarely see Witch Elves. I mean, they're nice just to pounce on a unit, keep them tied down, slow them down. It's nice to get rid of like the more expensive units, so maybe that's why they done it, because people are getting fed up of having their elite units just getting bogged down by Witch Elves and then mowed down by the enemy elite units. Probably that's why they did it. Cold One, just nice. I mean, I love that all the Cold One units have got a buff, even in Lizardmen army, because they really needed it. Although there was the coolest looking cavalry in the game, there was really meh cavalry that you never saw. Like the Dark Elf players like never bring Cold Ones to a fight, and even like Lizardmen players don't bring Cold Ones to fight. So it's really nice to see the Cold Ones get some love. That's one of the few things of this that I do like. War Hydras. This I do not like at all. Having another, it takes its place, +1 max use. So that means it can regen health insanely much. So when you kill it, you can come back and back again. So you have to kill Hydra like several times. And there's already so your best thing to do against a Hydra now is to root it and then just get a unit to chase it so it doesn't come back to the battlefield, and just root it off the battlefield instead of actually trying to kill them. Best thing, just trying to root them, and which is super annoying to do because that means you have to get a unit out of the battle just to get rid of an enemy unit, so you can't have it in battle to help fight, which is Not great. Dark Peasant keeps his mounts reduced by 50. Yeah, that's for Marathi. You rarely see Marathi, it's always Malekith, because Malekith's like one of the, if not the strongest legendary lord at the moment, because all of his magic and he can just jump in with his dragon there and rip people apart. But again, all that can be countered with snipe builds. So like the Skaven's got a very nice deadly combination to snipe enemy lords. And with the dwarfs, and now all the dwarfs are getting a massive boost to their mass, so they'll stop send flying. But, like Inept General said that he doesn't like this because it's always fun to see dwarves go flying and charged by big monsters, and I agree with him. It's just hilarious, just sending big monsters and T-Rexes and stuff just plowing the dwarven lines and seeing them fly around. I mean, yes, they do need some extra mash just to stop cavalry just smashing through them, which I think this is what they was going for. But some of them have like Ironbreaker 70 mass. You can stop big ass monsters running through you with this, and this will also tie in with what I have to say about Lizardmen later on. So yes, give them some more mass, but not a huge boost, because you should. I know they want to stop cavalry from just ploughing through them, but not the monsters. Monsters should just plough through anything, because they're big ass creatures. Zombies get some regular damage, less armor piercing damage. Okay. Oh, feels like getting some melee defense debuffs. Ironbreakers are getting a buff across the board. Rangers, more accuracy. Okay. Bugs and Rangers getting a massive boost there, Jesus. Ironbreakers going to cost less. Allow the gyrocopters and gyro bombers are getting some nice buffs, because they need them. You do not see dwarfs bring gyrocopters, gyro bombers, and that was supposed to be their answer to flying units and dominating the airways. So it's really nice to see them get some buffs, because they're one of the units in the dwarf roster that really needs to be buffed. So it's nice to see them get some love there. Good throwers are more accurate now and do more explosive damage. I thought that was already quite accurate, but I guess people wanted more accuracy on them. Organ guns are less accurate, which people are not going to like, because everyone loves bringing organ guns to a fight. Flame cannons, more range, which is nice, and more explosive AP damage. Just gonna melt people. Projectile tweaks, yeah. Frames cost more, and the artillery crews against some more HP, so they won't die too quickly. And the Rune Lords cost more as well. Excuse me. Now, a little thing I'll just quickly go over. The reason why like flaming units are getting a bit of a tweak now is because it's something that the Inept General didn't mention or didn't see, because in the upper patch notes, and there is a lot to go through, so I can understand why people skip it. I mean, I just skimmed through most of it, but one of the things I did see is that things that are weak to fire damage are going to be more resistant to fire, because fire damage is getting nerfed by 25%. So likely undead will not die so easy to fire, and so will the Tomb Kings. Because what this patch is just to make the Tomb Kings look badass. So you'd want to buy the pack. I understand why they do it, because you need to sell stuff, but I really don't think you should make them too OP, because we haven't seen the stats for them yet, unless you're a big YouTuber and you've already had the pleasure of playing with the Tomb Kings and you know what their stats are. But for what it sounds like at the moment, their stats are going to be quite mental. and these feather patches, so they take less damage to what they're weak to, it's not going to be pleasant to fight them. Anyways, we'll talk more about that a bit later on. Let's get on with the Empire. Flatulence, yes, they do need a buff, because flatulence are quite useless, to be fair. I mean, yes, the main idea behind flatulence is just to tie down certain units and just use them as a meat shield. Hey. And how about to get some more armor piercing? Yeah, I mean, the Empire's troops getting a bit of a buff. I mean, it's not a massive buff, but you know, I think that's right for them. Just give them some extra little bit of damage, just to help them deal some more damage, keeping the fight a bit longer. In the Empire wise, I'm fine with it. I mean, the steam tanks here, they did need a nice buff, because steam tanks, while there was a good unit to have, they still felt not as good as they should have been. So all this here, yeah, that's good. Steam tanks and Hellstorm's speed is that to reach what? Length reduce. Okay, I'm not sure what they're doing here with this soul speed. Does that mean you can just move them faster? I'm not sure. It doesn't really say. And all artillery crew is getting some more HP. I think they're just trying to make it so artillery is a bit more deadly on the field now, so they won't just get charged by a cavalry unit and then die instantly. And everyone else is Karl Franz getting some more AP. So there's a reason. So yeah, all this AP damage is to help deal with the Tomb Kings. That's why everyone's getting a big buff to it. And we have the High Elves here. White Lions getting some regular damage to the AP. I mean, yeah, White Lions. I don't like the White Lions unit. I don't. I never liked using them. Anyways, archers getting a bit accurate. Now, a reason I think that they're decreasing the accuracy for the archers for the high elves is so you can't Lord Sniper like take out like mages or hero units so easily by just pelting them with a crap ton of arrows. So I think it's just to help calm that down a bit. I think that's why they're getting a bit minus to their accuracy. I mean, it doesn't say how much, so it might not be a great deal. We won't know. Silver Helms get some more HP. Yeah, the High Elves cavalry, even though they do have a lot of it. I really found myself using Dragon Princes because they just look really cool. Dragon Princes cost more, yep. It's because the Dragon Princes are really good and they do need more costume, I agree to that. Great Eagles getting armor piercing damage. Okay. Don't use Great Eagles. And the mounts also getting stronger. Chariots getting a bit of a buff. Eagle Claw bolt throwers getting more range. I don't like that because they're annoying to deal with. Dragon mounts getting more cost. Yeah, all the dragon mounts are getting cost throughout the board. We'll come back to Lizardmen. I've got some more to say. I've got quite a lot to say about the Lizardmen, so we'll come back to them. Skaven. Now this right here is a really good example on how to do an update on a faction, because the Skaven, a lot of people complain about them being weak, but I don't know how people have got this impression, because Skaven's actually a really strong faction. They're really good, especially in campaign. They are really good to play as. They have a lot you can do with the Skaven to overcome certain units being stronger. They have a lot of different types you can use. But Doom wheels, I hate these things so much. So them having less melee attack is good, but giving them more regular damage over AP, yes, because those like a stupid unit. Really, I don't like Doom wheels at all. But getting rid of more of their armor damage and just giving regular damage is good. This is very good because their charge speed was ridiculous as well. So I agree with this update right here because that did need to be debuffed. Night Runners, Glitters, Throwing Stars no longer ignore shields. That's very good because they shouldn't. So it's got a shield, then you have to get around behind it. And for you don't know what the shield for in the Total War, the shield system, like any character or unit that has a shield, they have a bronze and silver shield, and I'm not sure if there's a gold shield. I can't remember seeing a unit with a gold shield, but a bronze shield has a chance to minus 45% of projectiles damage, and silver 50%. And that's not a great deal, but it's just that little extra boost. So them just outright ignoring that and just ripping your front lines apart is not nice. But Storm Vermin getting some more HP, that is good for the multiplayer scene, because in multiplayer this game don't get them enemies from below, if I remember correctly. I never played this game in multiplayer. I've actually never played this game in single player because I don't like this game. But yeah, so them getting some HP is good for the multiplayer scene there, and again all artillery crews getting the HP. So that right there is a good example of an update that you should do to a race. That's very good. Well done on the Skaven and Britannia. Okay, let's go to the greenskins. Got Orc Boys getting some nice melee attack. Savage Orc Boy begins and lots more leadership. These spiders, their missile range is getting increased. Okay. Rock Lobbers more accurate. Again, I thought those were quite accurate anyways. And again, artillery crews. Grimgor getting some insane RP melee damage, which, I mean, Grimgor should be a threat in the battlefield. He is Grimgor. He's a deadly black orc, so yeah, he should definitely be a threat in the field. So giving him some more damage and armor, that's fine. Wood Elves. Ugh. I was getting dry all this time. War Dancers getting a debuff, which I don't really agree with. War Dancers, I think they're alright the way they are. I don't think they should be getting debuffed. Wildwood Rangers, get more melee defense. Glade Guards removed magical attacks. Oh. Why? Maybe it's because they're just a base unit. But remove magical attacks? I do think you should remove their magical attacks, because they would also have a magical. That's how they're able to keep their own against heavily armored units with all their magic. With scouts, getting faster, more HP, that's very nice. -5 range. Okay, that's not a big debuff. Ray Watchers, -1 second reload plus projectile speed. So, okay, it's a bit weird. Again, removing magical attacks. which I don't agree with. You shouldn't remove magical attacks from the Wood Elves. But the Wood Elves is a powerful faction, it's one of the strongest factions. People do like to use them a lot in multiplayer. Yeah, the infantrymen getting... Oh, they'll get charged defense versus all. Wow. Treemen are getting a nice buff here. Yeah, get some more AP damage and plus missile resistance. Or even the Treekins are getting plus missile resistance as well. Wow. Okay, the Treemen are getting a nice buff in all this. I mean, it might encourage more people to play as Drago. I mean, when I play the Wood Elves, I do prefer going Orion over Drago, just because it's got a lot more variety with the Wood Elves and paying Amber for all those different Wood Elf views as Drago is quite nasty. Female Glade Lords and Forest Dragons plus 10% missile resistance, because female Glade Lords are what you use in multiplayer because they're just so good. And now they've got some more missile resistance, so that's going to make people play Wood Elves on multiplayer very ecstatic. Vampires, so this is the last faction, and I won't go through the abilities or anything because I'm probably taking up way too much time talking about this already. Cameras getting some charge bonus, yep. Okay, that's fine. All steeds, 10 ground, yeah, that's also fine. Black and Knights getting getting some more attack speed. I believe that if it has a minus there, it means they'll be faster. That's what I believe. I guess that's alright. Get more charge bonus. Reavers get more charge, but yep. Hexers being faster. Maybe they should get some more charge bonus as well, Hexrays. Vargeis, faster on the ground, yeah. They're getting armor piercing damage, because again, everything's getting armor piercing damage because of the Tomb Kings. Vargulfs, little guys see on the ground. Ooh, more damage and more armor piercing damage. But their attack is slower, less charge bonus, but more melee attack, more melee defense. Jesus, that is a big buff for them. Since the Vargulfs to be able to spend more, time at Contest, cost less, cycling charge micro, fewer but stronger attacks per minute, make that cost less. It's a loss of vigor. Corpse carts, okay, make them a bit cheaper for multiplayer. I mean, I thought Vargulfs were fine the way they were, but apparently it's time they need a big buff too, which is nasty. Graveguard having charge bonus, okay, bit weird to give that to him. Oh, that's a bummer with great weapons, so yeah, they won't be brisk. Terrorgeist and breath attack stronger, ooh, that's nasty. Nasty. So let's go over to the Lizardmen, which is the main thing I have issues with, because I love the Lizardmen. They're my favourite faction. I do love playing with them, but as I said on the video, I did put a comment that I really did not like what they've done with them, and it's the most thing people ever replied to me, ever comment before, so which is nice. It's just that people are saying, you know, Lizardmen are OP, Lizardmen need to be massively debuffed, but they've been, in the last update as well, they got, some of the units got debuffed. I can't remember which ones, but the last update C8 did, and those Lizardmen did get debuffed. So, let's go through this. Chameleon Skinks, -2 melee defense. Yes. Chameleon Skinks really need to be killed off even more quickly than they already are. The Skinks are such a bad unit in Warhammer 2, in vanilla anyway, in the base game. They're so bad, Skinks. You just can't have Skinks in your army. The only Skinks that you should ever have in your army are Skink's Javelin units, because they do poison damage, and Javelins are the only range units they have that do any decent damage. As well as you've got your Skinks on your monsters and Pterodons. Those are the only Skinks you should ever have in your armies. Croxigors are getting a bonus versus large, which is really nice, especially with what they've done to the rest of the units. So you'll be seeing a lot more Croxigors in players' armies now, so it'll help fight off some large opponents, and you'll see why in a sec. Horned ones, plus melee defense and 2 speed. Would like to see more of a buff to them, but as I say, any buff to any Cold One units is extremely welcome. And the Regeneration Crystal, -3 cast. Now, Inept General asked a little question on his videos, like, he doesn't use them is because he doesn't really see the point in them, because the cooldown is so long. And I agree with him, there's really no point in using these crystals. You can take free charges off it. It doesn't matter, you never get to go through all those charges anyway, unless you're in a choke point situation where you just have Saurus warriors for days, and then that's the time you're able to use it to its full use. But yeah, I don't find myself using it because it just takes up a slot that far better unit can take up. I mean, it was a nice idea by CA because it's a CA created unit, it's not on the tabletop, but it's just really not that good. If you reduce the cooldown, then you can take away how much of it you can use, but yeah, it's just really a pointless unit. Pterodons, everything seems to be getting more ground speed. Maybe it's just to help them get away from combat, because I've found it, I think a lot of people find it difficult to get there. Once their flying units commits into melee, it's super hard to get them out of it. So I think that's why everyone's getting some nice ground speed. Skint Chiefs, -18 blowpipe ammo. Whoop-de-doo, you gave them less ammo for the most useless ranged weapon in the entire game. Blowpipes are absolutely useless. They are horrible weapons, and you should never get any unit that has a blowpipe, because it just sucks. The chameleon skinks are okay because they are fast and they can kite a unit you might not want in engagement straight away, slow them down, just keep them chasing, kite them away for a bit. But other than that, they're going to do no damage to anything. The blowpipes are really shitty weapon, and you should not really have a unit with blowpipes in your army because they're just crap. Now, here is the biggest issue I have with this update. Carnosaurs, all of them, minus mass. Ah, okay. Plus a bigger hitbox size. Oh, great. And less attack speed. Fucking fantastic here. So, the Lizardmen's main deal, which is that they have big monster units to get through the front lines and get at the nice chunky range units, because the Lizardmen's only range unit that is of any use is their javelins, and you can do what 5 volleys of them before they run out of ammo in the base game. I don't know, it's been so long since I played Fiddle Warhammer, because I have my game heavily modded so I can actually have a strong Lizardmen faction. So yeah, so they won't be able to break through lines as easily. They're gonna have, so that means the reason why I think Lizardmen get such a big debuff is because the Two Kings are coming out, and the Two Kings are heavily situated near Krokgar and some of his Lizardmen allies, and they already have a really shitty starting point, a really difficult one. Now it's going to be an insanely difficult one, because then the Two Kings are going to have, since the skeletons and undead, they're going to have a lot of units in their armies. So they're going to have a widespread front line, so your Carnosaurs will not be able to punch through that as easily now, which is great. And this is they've got a bigger hitbox size. I mean, all those lovely archer units, of which there is a lot of, are going to shoot the crap out of your Carnosaurs. So they're going to get ripped apart, and a lot of the Tomb King stuff, archers and everything, has armor piercing and armor shredding abilities. So your Carnosaurs are going to get ripped apart, and so is all lizardmen front lines really, because they have a lot of armor, lizardmen. I'll go a bit more into them a bit later, the actual lizardmen units. So your Carnosaurs are going to get ripped to pieces, and then they're just going to bring in their giant constructs, which seem incredibly powerful, because all of them have like armor piercing damage as well as magical damage and fire damage, which is disgusting. And that giant titan construct, I can't remember what it's called, Angel Scratching, that also has bound spells to it, so which doesn't cost affect the winds of magic, so it's just going to be piling spells on your lines. I can't remember which ones they are. Just give me a second for the angel up. So the Carnosaurs are not going to be nowhere near as useful as they once were, which is very upsetting, because there was the main staple lizardmen army, these giant T-Rex monsters. And then we've got Krotgar here, my favourite character. Absolutely love Krotgar. And then he's getting a massive debuff as well. So he's reduced missile resistance to 15%. I think it was 25% he had before, or was it 30%? I can't remember. So that's great. So he's going to be taking more damage from those lovely archers I was telling you about earlier of the Tomb Kings, as well as if he ever fights Dark Elves or High Elves. And less armour while he's on Grimlock. What? How can you get less armour when you're giant a fucking T-Rex? That's just stupid. Well, he's on foot or on the cold one. He gets +7 bonus versus large and more health. Does he keep that boost while he's on Grimlock, or does that boost just get negated and he also gets these debuffs? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works. I would hope not, because otherwise it's starting to look pointless to have him on Grimlock. But that's the whole stick with Krotgar. It's Krotgar and Grimlock. Grimlock, because the lore behind him, like they went for the original Chaos Invasion. There was the lone survivors of their squad that they killed. They survived weeks out there surrounded by endless hordes of greater demons and lesser demons, and just ripped them apart. So yeah, I do not like that at all. And the Saurus Obloods, again, they're getting minus armor, but they do get the 5 HP. So again, I hope that keeps. But I'm again not sure at all. Scar Veterans, minus charge bonus, minus base damage, minus AP damage, and removes primal instincts. What? Oh, yeah. Okay, removes primal instincts. That's fine, because primal instincts is the one that makes them go rage, I believe, if I remember correctly. But minus all that damage. Oh, that is nasty. Absolutely disgusting. Cold ones, they're getting a nice buff. Again, as I say, I don't know if they keep all this once they get an Carnosaur, or it just gets removed and then they get the debuff. I don't know. I don't know how that works. They're getting some nice damage here for armor piercing, which is very nice. But again, they're just a regular -5 against large is just awful. So that was my original thoughts on all this. And so when I wrote my comment, I got a few replies to it. One of them was being it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, they still have their Spearman, Temple Guard, and Cold War Spears. Well, yes, you're right, they still have those units. But Spearmen, let's go over them. Spearmen in all factions are garbage, let's just be honest. You use them early game because they're cheap. And they have some stopping power against Cav. And well, they're mainly used against Cav, you don't really use them against larger monsters. But there's still nothing compared to when you get Halberts, which is the Temple Guard for Lizardmen. But we'll just go over the Spearmen for now. Also, yes, Lizardmen do have a higher attack strength than other Spearmen units. They also generally have a lower melee attack, and melee attack is the base stat that they use to hit something. And the melee defense is generally weaker as well. But with the shield variation, yes, the melee defense is better, and they do have a bronze shield against missile units, and they do have a lot of armor. But with this update, giving a lot of units now a lot of AP damage, and again the Tomb King's range, a lot of their range units have armor piercing, armor shredding abilities. It's really not going to count much for shit, because they can just get focused down before the giant constructs engage. And then with the Lizardmen you also have the added problem of rage, which is when the Lizardmen health goes below 50% of what it is, they'll get in range and just run at the closest unit at them, near them, so you can kite them off or get them to engage anti-melee unit or armor piercing unit on the front line, so you can just get rid of an annoying unit. You can get rid of a unit that is good against one of your units incredibly easy when you're fighting Lizardmen, especially they have all this AP damage now, so you can get the Lizardmen to go into frenzy so quickly and just either kite them away with a fast unit, or just get them to engage in a fight they do not want to engage in. And then okay, so that's my thoughts with the Spearmen. Now with the Temple Guard, yes, a Temple Guard is an amazing unit. I will not lie to you, they're one of the best infantry units in the game. I'm not going to say, oh no, they're underpowered, they need massive buffs, because they are a really good unit, because they have armor piercing, bonus versus large. So yes, that is going to be now the main Lizardmen's way of dealing with these constructs. But again they still have the same problem. They still only bronze shielded, so they can get ripped apart by by all this armor piercing range, as well as a high tier anti-infantry unit would be able to take them out as well. Because if I remember correctly, for base game they don't have that primal rage, the primal instincts there, so they work right, but they can route, because I think a mod I have installed at the moment makes the Temple Guard unbreakable, because they should have just been based unbreakable, because they're the best of the Lizardmen. They fight like there's that law of Lizardmen Temple Guards fighting off the entire Chaos Horde by themselves for like 5 days or something, and like every single one died, not a single one fled. So they should be unbreakable, and so you can't kite them away. But if all the other units are too busy following a routing unit while they're enraged, then they can be easily surrounded and taken care of. And while yes, the cold ones are getting a bit of a boost, it's still not a great boost to really Well, actually, the Cold One spears are getting no buff, actually. And their melee attack is only 20, so it's not great. I mean, yes, you should really use them to run into it, run away, and run back in. But it's a lot of micromanagement, that is, just for one user to try and take down one large construct, which they'll probably just get shot to pieces before they finish killing it. They won't be able to take one out. Or they'll just be chased down by another cavalry, intersected and wiped out. So, yes, they still have their Temple Guard to deal with large opponents, but the Carnosaurs were just so much better at doing that. That was their main anti-large, because they could just get to them straight away, run through the enemy's front lines, disrupt their lines while your main line engages, so it helps with your initial engagement, and then you kind of get them to attack the archers, or get them on these deadly big monsters that you do not want to attack your poor guys on the front line. But since they're going to be very hard doing that now, and they're going to take more damage from archer fire, it's going to be really unpleasant for the poor lizardmen. So that's why I think it is a bit of a big deal why these Carnosaurs are getting a minus debuff. And another person said, well, Khotgar is beast, is just to really stop him from being OP, and he still has a crap ton of armor piercing damage, and he's still a really good lord. Also, yes, he does have a lot of armor piercing damage, which is going to be amazing against these larger constructs. But again, and his hand of God just does magical fire damage, but like I said before, fire damage is also getting a debuff, and it really doesn't do that much damage. It really doesn't. It's not that good of ability. You get 2 casts of it, and it's a 120-second cooldown. So yeah, if he was to engage in summit, he'd have to use his Hand of Glory really fast, otherwise he'll be killed. And he's not OP at all. I mean, in campaign he has a lot of nice abilities that you can use to get him up stronger, but like in multiplayer, if you do get the rare chance of seeing someone play Lizardmen, because that's a rare sight, it is, and they will always bring Mazamundi over Khotgar, because Khotgar's, if you've got the choice between the two, you're going to go Mazamundi because he has some good spells. And Khotgar, well, yeah, he's got great AP, and you put him on Grimlock and he can rip apart a large unit. But with all this debuffing he's getting, yes, he might be able to take on one of the constructs by himself. That's a might. But he's going to be so close to death, and all you have to do is just shoot him a few times with arrows, and there's down Khotgar. Or any like Saurus veteran or Old Blood on the Carnosaur. They may be able to take on a construct in a 1v1, but with the regen that the two kings get, and that hero they have that regens constructs, I don't see it happening. I don't see them be able to win the 1v1 fight when you've got all those extra buffs added on. As far as I know, the regen buffs don't come with a debuff like with Cold Blood. Like, because if you use Cold Blood, yes, your guy regenerates, but he's also a lot weaker, and it can be, because his melee defense like goes to shit, and you should not use that while a unit's engaged in battle. But speaking of like Mazamundi and Khotgar's legendary lords, the Slang Priests themselves are really shitty magic. Like, they're supposed to be at the high level of mages you can get, and their magic is crap. I never use Slang Mage Priests. I mean, I got a mod that gives them better magic, but in the base game, in my Khotgar Let's Play I'm doing, which I will be continuing. Well, I have all the videos, I've completed it, it's just that a few of them got corrupted. So what I'm going to have to do is find out the video before that, what turn it was, find the save file, and then just go up to the turn it was on the next video. There'll be a few differences, but it just makes it a bit more coherent. So I'll have to go back and redo them. and try and do them before this update comes out, because I really don't like it. Well, not what they did with Lizardmen anyways. They did some good stuff. So yeah. And well, that's my thoughts on the update. And someone else said that Lizardmen are the second strongest faction in the game. I'm like, are you mad, man? Are you stupid? No, they're really not. Because I remember, I mean, you don't see them on, you rarely see Lizardmen in multiplayer, and with all these big YouTubers as well, when you see them do battle replays, when you see them have a Lizardmen faction in there, they generally lose most of the time. Because yes, the Horse Warriors have like 44 weapon strength, which is great. That's just pure strength though. They don't have any armor piercing damage, don't have any extra infantry or any anti-large, no magic or no poison. They have no extra effects. It's just pure power, which it should be because these are giant ass lizardmen. They should be a pure powerful thing. But put them up against anything as armor damage, which a lot of shit is getting now, or magical damage, or just anti-infantry units, and they're going to lose. So they're not OP, but they're fine. Just that the thing with the Lizardmen, they don't really have anything. They don't really have any specific units when it comes to their infantry wise. They just have this bulky infantry, which is going to be a bit less bulky now that everything's getting armor piercing damage. So yeah, the Lizardmen have never been an OP faction. And far as the only thing they have fire damage wise is the pterodons with the little fireball things, which are really fun to use, but they're really useful against units that have a lot of stuff in them. Really good at AoE damage, not really good for shooting down single targets. And you never want pterodons to go into melee combat because they get ripped to shreds in literally 2 seconds. Or anywhere near archers, because they're just made out of paper, pterodons. Which they are. And so rightly so you don't want them anywhere near like archers or into combat. It's not pleasant. It's not going to end well for you. So yeah, that's my that's really my whole just replies to them. So Khotgar's not as OP as people think he is. So I remember I think it was Indie Pride from Milk and Cookies Total War. Before Mortal Empires came out, he was using the faction locker, and he did a fight against another player who was using the Vampire Coast. He was playing as Lizardmen, and he lost. And Indie Pride, he's really good at the game. He knows what he's doing. He's good at his micromanagement. He knows how to use the units properly. And he lost to the freaking vampires. Lizardmen getting killed by vampires. Yeah, I'll just let that sink in for you. So yeah, so that's it for my video. That's what I think to the update. And actually, oh no wait, there's something else I want to go over with as well. Just to further emphasize my point here. In Mortal Empires, have you actually got around to meeting Khotgar? And if you have, has he ever made it past either Lamia? Ever made it past there, or where Greek spawns? Because in every Mortal Empires campaign I have done, he's either been wiped out, not made it past Skull Kingdom, and I think the furthest I've ever seen him got when I'm not playing as him is that he's managed to get all the Skull Kingdom, got confederated with the Lizardmen army to the left of him, and taken that province to the north of him, but he's not been able to get through the Silver Host or Clan Wars. He's all just been stuck in the bottom right there to either be eventually wiped out by all the corruption be that by beastmen, the vampires, or Skaven, or he just sits there and just twiddles his thumbs. The leader of the entire Lizardmen army, doing jack shit, everyone. And then when the Tomb Kings arise, they're just going to be able to stomp all over him. So yeah, that's my main issue with this, is that Kroq-Gar is just getting abandoned in the bottom right corner of the map, and you're not going to hear anything from him. So, which I love Kroq-Gar. So yes, that's my 2 cents on the whole matter. So to go for it again, Lizardmen not OP, Kroq-Gar's not OP. I mean, someone did like a top 10 of the legendary lords in all of Warhammer, and they made them go through certain situations and how each one would perform. And I think Kroq-Gar came out as number 8. So while yes, he's strong with Grimlock, but I think with all these debuffing he's getting and some of the buffs that the other lords are getting, I doubt he'll be even in the top 10 anymore. Especially with all these Tomb King legendary lords coming out. So yeah, Kroq-Gar probably won't even be in the top 10 legendary lords anymore. And yeah, so that's yeah, so that's, anyway, I've talked on too much about this, but that's my reply to all that. And see you, you know, go fuck yourselves, you know. So, thanks for doing this to the Lizardmen. They really needed it. This is why I'm so thankful that they have mods out there. I mean, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the mods, because you guys are amazing. You see what's wrong with the game, and even though the creators won't do anything about it, you guys do. And yes, at times there can be conflicts, but I found with Total War here, especially in Warhammer, the mods are really good. They're less conflicting than a lot of other games I've tried modded, and Team Radius, you guys are amazing. I absolutely love your mod. I can actually use skinks in your mod. I can have a full army of skinks and have them be useful. It is amazing to actually do that. And while on the topic of skinks, what I think they're going to do when they bring out a new DLC after Tomb Kings, it will either be a Dark Elf and a High Elf, which everyone knows it's going to be. It'll be the High Queen versus that cult leader of the Dark Elves. Can't remember the names. But when it comes to the Skaven and Lizardmen, I imagine Lizardmen's going to get a skink legendary lord. Either that be the Prophet of Sotek or that other dude that can see into the future. And they're going to have similar effects to Skarsnik. Well, that means you can have a decent skink army in the base game, because at the moment you can't. You just can't. Skinks are useless. They're like, why have them when you can have Source Warriors? I mean, yes, you can use them as a meat shield, but then bye. You guys are dead after that. And skinks are so cute. I don't like using them as meat shields. But yeah, that's a lot of talking. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I doubt a lot of you people agree with me on this, from what I've been replied to in that one comment I did. But yeah, I'll try to get some more videos up as soon as I can. Bye guys.